Good evening, everyone. I'm Patricia Guevara, your host for the day, and you're watching the new national broadcast. An anonymous DepEd worker suggested revisions regarding the DOJOC's policy. An anonymous DepEd worker suggested revisions regarding the DOGOC's part in DepEd supplemental policy is currently being reviewed and thought over by DepEd officials. Last October 5, 2000. According to the Philippine Information Agency, the supplemental policy will strengthen the existing mechanisms on child protection and includes the recommendations of the Department of Justice Office of Cybercrime regarding the utilizations of meetings via online classes. Let's do this again, Patricia. According to the Philippine Information Agency, the supplemental policy will strengthen the existing mechanisms on child protection and includes the recommendations of the Department of Justice Office of Cybercrime regarding the utilizations of meetings via online classes. The recommendations of the DOJOC in part of DepEd supplemental policy are as follows. 1. Meeting credentials, including the ID and password, are to be disclosed from the public and to be kept confidential. Meeting room credentials, including the ID and password, are to be disclosed from the public and to be kept confidential from outsiders. 2. The meeting host must accept meeting 2. The meeting host must accept meeting participants' requests to join individually, provide a standard naming instruction for the participants, start meeting with participants' video off, require a video. Okay. One last. 2. The meeting host must accept meeting participants' request to join individually, provide a standard naming instruction for the participants, start the meeting with the participants' video off, require a password from the participants, mute participants upon entry, disable desktop and screen share for participants who are not assigned in the virtual meeting room as hosts. Mute participants upon entry and disable desktop and screen share for participants who are not assigned in the virtual meeting room as hosts. Three, allowing participants to join before the host, rename themselves, send messages to other participants, allow participants to access the file transfer, share their screens, use annotation tools, and change their background with any selected image is strictly prohibited. 4. The students must never be left alone in the virtual classroom. 5. The application used must always be downloaded down to its latest version. And 6. Parents are also advised to promote and implement proper netiquette to be observed by children under their supervision, as well as teach children to discern information online. The Department of Justice Office of Cybercrime's recommendations have certainly held an impact in the education service sector. Several schools in the Philippines, including Colegio San Agustin, have implemented these online meeting guidelines in accordance with DepEd supplemental policy. These meeting guidelines have caused online class reference meetings more monitored, and teachers are able to identify students more effectively, causing less confusion, chaos, and ultimately Okay, let's skip that. With this in mind, a suggestion regarding the DOJOC's part in DepEd supplemental policy from a DepEd worker who has requested to not be revealed is currently being reviewed. The suggestion in question aims to adjust rules number 4, 5, and 6 respectively. These rules are: never leave the students alone in the virtual classroom, always update the application to its latest version, and that parents are advised to promote and implement proper etiquette to their children and teach them how to discern information online. The suggester argues that while students The suggester argues that while students mustn't be left alone, connectivity issues are both unexpected and inevitable. Therefore, it is better to have the meeting recorded in case the teacher disconnects from the meeting. For the second point, the suggester states that not everyone has the luxury to update the meeting application down to its latest version. Some applications may require premium payment in order to access the latest version, causing more burden to the Some applications may require premium payment in order to get the latest version, causing more burden to the student and his or her family. Lastly, the suggester explains that not every parent or family member is experienced in using the internet, therefore being unable to properly teach their child proper etiquette and research skills. The suggester recommends that the one most fit to teach proper etiquette and research skills should be none other than the school and its educators themselves. DepEd has released no official confirmation or changes to its supplemental policy regarding this matter. However, it is currently being discussed and reviewed. Hartsville Village makes its first ever monocrystalline solar PV power plant. Hartsville Village makes its first ever monocrystalline PV power plant. On March 9, 2020, with the help of scientists, On March 9, 2020, with the help of UNICEF, scientists were able to install a monocrystalline power plant in the village of Partsville, Tagaytay. It was first installed in Pariston Hills. This project, namely Advancing Villages, was a project suggested by Grace Guevara, a scientist who aimed to improve the livelihoods of disintegrating Philippine villages after it was strongly affected by the Fun Fighters' terrorist attack. Along with the support of UNICEF, Guevara was able to launch the project and raise enough money to provide Partsville Village with its very own sustainable power plant. This power plant is a monocrystalline solar PV power plant, meaning it relies on sunlight. With this, we have renowned scientist Grace Guevara to further enlighten us on the matter. Thank you, Ms. Grace. Thank you for joining us today. So this power plant is a monocrystalline PV power plant